Good evening, everybody, and welcome back, and thanks for wrapping up another week of February with us. We do so on the heels of some cold and wintry weather. We do so ahead of some more of the, no, it's not more of the same. We've got some more intensity in the forecast in regards to cold weather and chances of snowfall. In fact, the forecast has been tweaked in the last 24 hours, and it's not gotten any warmer whatsoever, and some pretty good chances of some snow throughout. We'll outline that in more detail. And our top headlines coming up in a few moments. First, let's check in at our state's capital and find out about a couple of things happening there in Frankfort, where while many Kentucky communities do have smoke-free ordinances on the books, the majority across the Commonwealth do not. And in a state with a very long and diverse history in the tobacco industry, and by a slim margin of 51 to 46, the Kentucky House has approved a statewide smoking ban in all public buildings and most workplaces. At debate, as has been since it was first brought up, a person's right to smoke and public health concerns in a state that ranks among the very highest as far as smoking, cancer, and heart disease rates related to, of course, tobacco. After the Democratic-led House did pass the measure, it's now headed to the Republican-led Senate, where it has a greater chance of being snuffed out, pardon the pun. And voicing their opposition, the Kentucky School Boards Association has issued what they're calling a call to action as it pertains to a bill that would require school districts across the Kentucky to start the school year to schedule the first day of class for students near the end of August. And technically, it could not be before the Monday closest to, or it might be before the Monday, exactly, closest to August the 26th. In fact, a spokesperson for the association said specifically they're strongly in favor of local control and local decision-making. It's Senate Bill 129, and it would affect the ability of local school boards and districts to set their own calendars, and especially if they wanted to include more instructional days in before testing. Many school districts, including all of those in the viewing area, as we all well know, start earlier in August and closer to the first of the month than the latter part. The bill would allow a waiver inside it that would indicate a school that has missed at least 7 days a year for the past 5 years could be omitted from that entire guideline. Of course, missing days due to bad weather. The Senate Judiciary Committee has approved a bill to allow voluntary student expression of religious or political viewpoints in the public school system. It is Senate Bill 71, and it would give student-initiated and student-led prayer at public school events the okay, such as before or during sporting events or ball games. It now goes to the Senate for consideration there. The American Civil Liberties Union of Kentucky, of course, has already weighed in on the matter, calling it an unnecessary attempt to overregulate in an area already protected by the First Amendment. On the local level, a couple of things. This from the McGoffin County Health Department that I didn't have forwarded on over to tonight's community calendar. I will include it and incorporate it into the show next week, but just a quick reminder that the Kentucky Hands program is available in McGoffin County through the Health Department. If you are expecting a baby or have an infant up to 3 months old, you are eligible for this free home visitation program. Call the Health Department at 349-6212 for more information, or stop in during regular business hours. And if you're expecting, they say, all families expecting a new baby or have a new baby under 3 months, call about the Kentucky Hands program. It's a lot of support, information, and activities toward successful parenting. I'll remind you about it next week. Final judgment is expected to be filed at any time. I, along with the clerk's office, had expected the paperwork to be filed. We did confirm that it was still being drafted in the case of Richard and Pam Williams of McGoffin County, who the Department of Financial Institutions says they owe restitution of more than $1.3 million as they were ordered to pay when the McGoffin County couple was sentenced on February the 5th in a victim security fraud case here in McGoffin County, alleging there were 5 victims in the case, says authorities. The case was also the very first case where employees with the Department of Financial Institutions were made or appointed as assistant Commonwealth's attorneys to McGoffin County to help prosecute the case alongside the McGoffin County Commonwealth's Attorney's Office. On February the 5th, 51-year-old Pam Williams and 72-year-old Richard Williams of Sagersville were both sentenced here in McGoffin County Circuit Court before Judge Kim Childers. 1 year for Miss Williams, 3 years for Mr. Williams. Both sentences were probated to a period of 5 years by Judge Childers, who cited that if restitution is not paid within that 5-year period, the probation can be extended until it is paid. and restitution is to be paid back at a minimum rate of $100 per month per victim for the 5 victims, which Williams' attorney said they could not pay. However, the judge said that was the understanding and agreement, and made no understanding, or as we understand, no efforts to alter that. And we should expect to hear more in the judgment, as it will be returned after being signed by the judge. The Williamses were charged, though, with 10 counts each of selling unregistered securities and 5 counts of fraudulent securities practices for misrepresenting or leaving out facts about gas well investment, taking money from investors through fraudulent means. They both pleaded guilty in November to a recommended charge of 1 consolidated fraud count with restitution to the victims. Once again, $1.3 million in restitution. That's not the only case where we're awaiting a judgment or a motion on by a judge. I'll tell you what I found out today after calling to find out about the civil case between John Montgomery versus the McGoffin County Board of Elections and Charles Doc Hardin after these words.
At the end of every race, Mark Martin hangs up his driving gloves. He hangs up his fire suit. And he hangs up his helmet. Which is why he picks up his phone and opens the ER Extra app. The app shows ER Extra wait times, locations, and more. It's the one safeguard Mark Martin is never without. ER Extra at Paul B. Hall Regional Medical Center. Extra fast, extra easy, extra great.
I brought you full and complete closing remarks on Tuesday's program as they pertain to the case of John Montgomery versus Charles Doc Hardin and the McGoffin County Board of Elections. We have been waiting to hear from Special Appointed Judge John David Preston, who oversaw the case, a bench trial in McGoffin County. We have been waiting for his ruling now since Monday evening when court was adjourned.
After hearing all testimony and remarks on behalf of attorneys representing both sides, Judge Cottle indicated that before adjourning, he had taken 61 pages of personal notes that he would have to go over in their entirety. He also took away what I would consider to be volumes of other evidence and materials that were provided on behalf of both parties. I also understand that he cleared his calendar for the remainder of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, before he had to resume being in court today, presumably to go over all of that material. I called just before closing of the clerk's office today to see if they'd received any judgment in the case, and they had not as of close of business today. So there is no information, no new details, and for those of you who are wondering as to the outcome and whatever conclusion the judge would come to, that judgment has not been returned on behalf of Judge Cottle at this time. So therefore, the waiting will begin again on Monday.
In other local and area news, coverage of this week's regular session of the Paintsville City Council. After formally opening the meeting, Paintsville Mayor Bob Porter presented the bills for approval. Bills, according to Porter, would be paid as soon as funds became available to the city of Paintsville. Following that, discussion was had involving the removal and reconstruction of College Street, expected to take some 3 to 4 months to complete. It is underway. And following the second reading of Continuity of Government Agreement, the council voted to appoint Bill Mike Runyon, who would serve as the mayor if Mayor Porter became incapacitated or there was a condition or situation of an extreme emergency.
A couple of announcements this evening. I want to make everyone aware that on February 18th, the Department of Recreation and Park Administration of Eastern Kentucky University will be holding a hospitality workshop in Paintsville in cooperation with the city and Main Street office and Paintsville Tourism. It will be at the Country Music Highway Museum. Have a light breakfast at 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. and then the meeting will proceed. This meeting is primarily for employees of businesses from here in Paintsville to teach us how to better deal with shoppers and customers and tourists on a day-to-day basis and point out the various attractions and areas of Paintsville that they can take advantage of. Also in February, at the Civic Theater. I'll just run through this real quick. 14th, Johnson Central Middle and High School Honor Choir at the SIP, February 14th and the February 15th. The 20th will be the movie The Death of Floyd Collins. April 24th to May 1st, the spring season of the Main Street Players will begin. And way off in the future, Larry Sparks and the Lonesome Ramblers in November. Also, I want to mention, and y'all probably saw some people out on College Street this morning. This morning was our beginning of our construction, removal and replacement of College Street. It'll be about a 4 or 5 month project. I have a worksheet that kind of tells what will be done and the timing of each block and so forth. They'll just shut off probably 1 block at a time. They'll begin by replacing the utilities. So y'all welcome to a copy of this. News media is.
The council then heard the first reading and voted to accept the proposed change of meeting time. Future council meetings for Paintsville will be on the second Monday of each month, beginning at 6. Next, the council was updated on grant funding received for the Safe Way to School project, which is geared to providing safe walkways for students living within the walking distance of the schools in the city. And Mayor Porter also stated the recreational center will be designated as an emergency shelter, and the city purchased a $65,000 generator, which will be mainly paid for by grant monies. More headlines in a moment. Right now, as calendar announced, beginning with a bunch of birthdays. Happy birthday to Garland Gamble. Garland Gamble's 10th birthday, maybe today, from a whole lot of family and friends. Happy 10th birthday to Garland Gamble. Timmy James, from your sister Christina, Tommy, Mom, Dad, Dalton, Anthony, a whole lot of friends and family. Happy birthday to you. A special 9th birthday wish. His birthday's tomorrow on Valentine's Day. How cool is that? And Linda Littoral is having a birthday. Happy birthday, it says, to Linda Littoral. 77 tomorrow, from your son Don, your granddaughters, and Nene. Happy birthday to you, Linda. And happy birthday wish to Patsy Jean Gullett with lots of love from Larry, Misty, and family. A very special person deserves a very special birthday wish, they say. Happy birthday, Patsy Jean. And I'm not done. I'm just trying to get through them all here. Happy 28th birthday to Samantha Nichols Rhodes. Love Mom, Wayne, and your 5 kids, all of them. Happy birthday to you. They love you lots. Happy birthday to Samantha Nichols Rhodes. And this fellow's birthday is today. It says, please put a special birthday wish on the news to Cody Salyer with a whole lot of love and best wishes from Ma, Pa, Dad, Mom, family, and friends. It's his birthday today. Cody Salyer, happy birthday to you. And just a couple of reminders on tonight's community calendar, brought to you by McGoffin Farm Bureau. Don't know if I said that tonight or not, but as always, brought to you by McGoffin Farm Bureau. Tomorrow is the Sweetheart Banquet at the Burning Fork Community Church. A wonderful steak or chicken dinner with all the fixings. Great setting, great meal, great place to take your sweetheart on Valentine's Day. 3 to 8:30 tomorrow. Call 349-6400 to make reservations. Reservations are suggested. 349-6400. It's a big fundraiser, wonderful time. They really do it upright. They hope you'll join them. Also, an invitation coming to you from the Kearney Free Will Baptist Church. They're having family movie night tomorrow night. They're having a special presentation of Fireproof, and admission is free, and you just invitation only. Just show up and spend the evening with them. Wonderful fellowship and a wonderful movie, Fireproof, tomorrow at Kearney Free Will Baptist. And the Emmanuel Baptist Church in Pleasant Hill wants to invite everyone to Friend Day this Sunday. Worship begins at 11. Dinner will follow services. That's Sunday at 11 for Friend Day at Emmanuel Baptist Church. And a reminder that the Sayersville City Council, the meeting set for this Monday the 16th, has been changed. It's been moved to the following Monday on the 23rd, still set for 7 o'clock. I'll remind you, we'll have a report to follow. For now, a reminder about how you can get announcements just like these on the show before we go on to this evening's funeral service announcements brought to you by the McGoffin County Funeral Home. 87-year-old Molly Minix Montgomery of Sayersville passed away this week. Preceded in death by her husband, Calloway. She survived by sons John, David, and Stephen, daughters Dottie Collins, Linda Parker, and a host of family and friends. Services have been set for Miss Montgomery on Sunday, 2 o'clock at the McGoffin County Funeral Home. Visitation is this evening, all day Saturday, and prior to services, which once again will be held Sunday at 2 in her honor. Burial follows afterwards at the Montgomery Minix Cemetery on Oakley. And we've also received word of the passing of 84-year-old Harris Banks of Sagersville, who passed away on today's date. Arrangements are being made at the McGoffin County Funeral Home, but incomplete, from what I understand, at this hour. As of airtime, you can go to McGoffinCountyFuneralHome.com over the course of the weekend to find out more about services to be held in honor of Mr. Harris Banks of Sagersville.
And this is a portion of the program that I had some video that's just not ready to air. It was of some local forest fires in Sagersville, the Coal Branch area, and elsewhere. While forest fires are not going to be a prime concern due to the weather conditions for the next several days, forest fire hazard season does officially begin on Sunday, February the 15th. So keep that in mind. It runs through April the 30th. What does that mean? Well, during forest fire hazard season, it is illegal to burn between the hours of 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. in or within 150 feet of any woodland or brushland. Starts Sunday the 15th, continues through April the 30th. Crews have had some relatively small fires. Some have approached some structures. No structural damage in McGoffin County that I'm aware of, or the viewing area. But of course, Mother Nature has kind of put a quash on all that for the past several days and will continue to do so for the most part throughout your forecast period, because winter has returned with a vengeance.
Still a few things to cover before I get to your Licking Valley RECC forecast, and that is the fact that this show was taped a few hours earlier today. I had an appointment this afternoon that was going to last for a few hours this evening, and just one of those things I had to be there for, so my apologies. Any breaking news that may have come up this afternoon, I'll have for you when I play catch-up on Monday's program. It's been a busy week here around the newsroom, as you may have well noticed. I also need to make mention that just a few moments ago, and I didn't have time to put it into the screen, I did receive funeral service announcements for Harris Banks of Sagersville, who's passed away. The services have been set in his honor for Monday morning at 11 at the McGoffin County Funeral Home. And I also just was handed a partial announcement in honor of 97-year-old Jeff Harper, who passed away earlier today. Friend and neighbor to the newsroom. Jeff passed away earlier today in Pikeville at the medical center there. I do believe services are incomplete, but they too are being handled by the McGoffin County Funeral Home. With that said, let's move on and talk about this heavy winter hitter of an Arctic front looking to put a chill on any warm and fuzzy feelings for Valentine's Day. This Arctic cold front pushing south across eastern Kentucky tomorrow is going to bring a period of accumulating snow showers from late tomorrow morning through tomorrow evening. Intermittent snow squalls as well may bring visibilities down to basically zero at times or near there, and produce wind gusts of upwards of 35 miles per hour tomorrow. It's not going to be a warm and fuzzy day. Light snow accumulations are anticipated for most areas, with a ½ inch to an inch likely for some. That follows, of course, a day today where we saw 33 degrees and some sunshine that was very well received. But like I said, tomorrow all that changes as we go from mostly cloudy skies tonight with a chance of a few light flurries over the course of the evening and a southwest wind 3 to 6 miles per hour. Nothing really terrible about that. But all the activity picks up tomorrow with this first of another series of Arctic fronts. Yes, I said series. We're into our second now in just the past few days alone. So for tomorrow's forecast, as I said, look for mostly cloudy skies. Those southwest winds, 8 to 32, maybe 35 mile per hour gusts tomorrow. We'll see less than an inch of snow possibly, but it's going to look like much worse than that when we have those winds blustering about at near 30, 35 miles per hour on occasion. 70% chance of snowfall. It's going to be a wintry Valentine's Day, to say the least, with scattered snow showers mainly before 11 tomorrow night and a few flurries thereafter. Sunday things calm down, and man, do they cool down. Cool is not the word. 16 degrees for your daytime high on Sunday, a low of 7 that night into your Monday morning. We'll see the sunshine, and we'll also see northwest winds 5 to 17 that will put wind chill factors down into the -degree range for a long and extended period of time. Mostly cloudy skies to wrap up Sunday night. Those cloudy skies will also be the potential or give some potential for some more precipitation on Monday, which is Washington's birthday. A 30% chance of snow, mainly between noon and 3, and then more chances later on that night. Temperatures are hardly going anywhere. 27 and 18 on your Monday. Tuesday, 33 and 11 for daytime highs. You think we're going to start to see temperatures increase as we go from that 27 on Monday to 33 on Tuesday? No. We fall back down to 21 on your Wednesday and 24 for highs on your Thursday. And snow chances small or moderate throughout most every day of the forecast period. Not all, but most every day. And tomorrow looks to be the most wintry as far as precipitation is concerned on the radar. And then after the forecast period runs out on Thursday, well, I don't think the winter forecast is going to. So we'll pick that up when I see you back here next week for more of your news today. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful evening. I thought I was going to be extremely short. I'm almost right on the money, and that was with me getting out of here earlier than I do on a normal basis. So with that said, thank you again for being a part of the program. Hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day, and we'll see you back here next week. Good night.